week 27 of connecting the dots, which is going to be a little bit different this week. So week 27, since I turned 49, and I connect the dots with different people and ask them about them. And well, this is a different type of connecting the dots. This is connecting me with other streak runners. Did you know I'm a streak runner? Probably. Anyhow, back in January 21, so a little while ago now, I think I responded to something on Facebook, and next thing I know, there was a study happening, and they were doing a study on streak runners. And so I just sort of, happy to participate, be a participant. And they reached out. And so back in January of 21, I spoke to one of their people there in an interview and answered a whole bunch of questions. So I think I did maybe I answered questions and there was an interview. Well, why am I talking about that now? It got published this week, got sent to me this week. So that was pretty cool. So I've got it here, all of the study. It's got like a one-page summary, and then it's got the whole study bit of it as well. So that's pretty cool. And it talks about what streak running is. It goes into, I guess the summary talks about the findings and stuff like that, how streak running works. It forms hardcore habits, helps with motivation, develops a streaking mindset, not that type of streaking. And then it's got pros and cons. It's positive on health. It gives you a sense of accomplishment. The cons are running through injury and lack of rest and recovery to keep the streak alive. I know a little bit about that. Streak stress, trying to fit the daily run into busy schedules, especially when routines are disrupted. Probably know a little bit about that too. Impacts of run streaking. Streaking can impact other areas of the life. Yeah, a lot less. There's a lot less of me. Streaking may boost confidence and self-esteem and help with other tasks of daily living. I'm not sure. Probably. Streaking as a technique needs more research. Streaking has the potential beyond running. And that was one of the things I was talking about is what other things do I remember, having that conversation about what other things do I streak and do in consecutive. I'm like, no, just running. And I think that, in this, there was this, a lot of streak runners don't streak anything else. It seems to be that it's running that's streaking. So I was trying to look over there, a streaker. A study on examining streaking as a behavioral change technique for habit formation in recreational runners. So I spoke to Megan, when it's got a H in it, it's pronounced differently, right? Megan. And back in 21, and that's who interviewed me. And I think she ran lead on this. I don't know how to read research papers, but her name's first. Sounds like it's something you'd take lead on, right? They interview people from around the world that were anywhere between, in this data collection, between 100 and 4,500 consecutive days. My fellow streakers. I don't know who the others are. And it's funny, I figured out I'm participant free because I was reading one of the quotes there and I'm like, oh, that sounds very familiar. And at the end, it's got participant free mail. I'm like, all right, I'm participant free. They had runners from USA, Canada, Australia, Italy, Norway, England, South Africa. And then they just got little random notes, well, not random, structured here. I've picked up on some random things throughout there. For some participants, their run streak started organically without a goal of running every day to streak. Those participants recounted retrospectively finding out that they had been doing a thing that others also practiced. And then it's got the summary of one of the participants. I remember a conversation I had with a guy and said, yeah, I'm still running every day. And he goes, oh, you're on a streak. And I went, a what? And I don't even know what you're talking about. So I went back and looked it up and I'm like, all right, that's me, participant free, male. And that was a real story. I was on something like 783 days in a row and I ran into somebody, an acquaintance from a committee years before. And he said, oh, you're still running? And I said, yeah, I'm running every day. And he goes, running every day. And I'm like, yeah, I'm up to 783. And he goes, oh, you're a run streaker. And I had no idea what he was talking about then. And what are we today? 3,814 days in a row today as I read a study on streak runners. Lots of data stuff in these things. I skipped past that. I'm not a big reader. Several participants reported having done or doing a streak within a streak, whereby they set a higher minimum distance or time and additionally monitor the number of consecutive days achieving this. I know what that is. And I know that, like, for instance, I've been doing a minimum of 8 kilometers a day for a long time. And I guess that's a streak within a streak. If I wanted to look at it that way, I could go back and look at when did I consecutively do this 8 kilometers? I think it's 4 or 5 years. I don't know. Before that, it was sort of 5, and then it's been higher. You know, sometimes over Christmas breaks, I'll do 10 in a row, 10 kilometers every day. But it's been 8 for years and years. But I don't count streaks within a streak. But some do, and I've heard of that before. I've seen when other streakers post, yes, I've connected with other streakers on the internet. They will have their run day streak, and then they'll have their 5-mile streak, or, and so they've got these streaks within a streaks, but I don't do that. But it was interesting to read about the others that have their streaks within a streak. Another section where sounds familiar. Some participants who got health professional advice reported ignoring that advice as it was not in line with their ability to continue run streaking, or they sought different health professional advice which was in line with their ability to keep streaking. And then it has a little quote there, and it's got participant 3 male at the end of that again. So, but there's others as well. So I'm not alone on that, that's for sure. There's a section here about streak attachment. Most participants displayed a relationship to their streak akin to having an attachment with a person, a pet, or a desired object. So a little bit. Most participants, I'm sure I'm stuck in that one. I don't see participant 3 male written in any of the quotes there, but I do connect to that. In part of the wrapping up of it, streaking may be a promising behavior change technique to support habit formation in running behavior and potentially other behaviors. The current study examined the experimental accounts of individuals who used streaking for an extended period. Do you know about that? And so there's a lot of data here, and in conclusion, it then goes, streaking is a behavior change technique with the potential to support the formation of behavioral automaticity indicative of habits, as examined in the context of recreational running. Further research needs to study this promising, organically occurring technique to understand its potential to support long-term behavior change. That's it. That's the conclusion. So that's my connecting the dots story this week, where it's a whole research paper connecting this weird little thing I do to other people in the world that do this other weird little thing. So if you didn't know I was a streaker, you do now. And I met one a little while ago in Brisbane, and I'm looking forward to, he'll be on here soon. He doesn't know this yet, but I will be asking him to come chat to me, because I've never really sat down and, I've never really chatted to another run streaker. So that'll be interesting. Sounds like we're a bit alike if the study's correct. Anyhow, that's week 27 of me turning 49 and connecting with, me today and other streakers through a study. Have a great week.